You know, you can really tell a lot about a woman by the size of her sound waves.
Flight 815 crash landed, but where there's weird jungle noises and a polar bear. What the fuck is going on over there? Helen
and Alex
will guide you through. If you've seen Lost 20 times,
or if you're brand new,
welcome to our show. It's
Dharma Fish Biscuits.
Hello, and welcome to Dharma Fish Biscuits, your new favourite Lost podcast.
We're your hosts, Helen and Alex. We're going episode by episode, spoiler-free, bringing you all the hot takes no one ever asked for.
Find us on Instagram at Dharma Fish Biscuits Pod. Email us at dharmafishbiscuitspod@gmail.com. You can join our Patreon for free at patreon.com/dharmafishbiscuits for occasional inside info and bonuses.
Instead of going beat by beat, we aim to focus our conversation on the character the episode centres around, then we'll circle back to what we missed.
This week, it's a Sun episode, Season 1, Episode 6, House of the Rising, Sun.
Hate that. I hate that episode name. I hate it. It's literally like the very first idea from the writer's room to be like, we're going to do a Sun episode next. Anyone got any episode names? House of the Rising Sun? Oh, that's good, yeah. Like, there's like, and that there was the end of the conversation. There was no second draft of that.
Shall we dive in?
Let's flash back to the flashback.
Okay,
I have an amazing anecdote to get us started.
fantastic.
The first flashback, we have Sun in a slinky dress, accepting a glass of champagne from the server, who turns out to be gin. And I was watching this with my partner, who hasn't seen Lost. And the way that they interacted with each other in that scene, where they kind of pretend not to know each other and they have a little look pass between them, he was like, "Ooh, they're thieves." Because if you've never seen it, then their whole demeanour does really have like a jewel thief vibe. Like, oh yeah, we'll be at this fancy party, we'll pretend like we don't know each other, but then we'll go and steal all the jewellery. Like, I was just
God.
like, oh, if only that were true, that would be so cool.
The original Nikki and Paolo, if you will.
Hey.
Yes, they're at this party. Jin is serving some drinks. They have a little kiss later.
Jin is, you know, all we've really seen thus far, apart from a couple of tiny moments, is like the villainized Jin, who is just a dickhead, and like we can continue to see some pretty appalling behavior from him in this episode. But in the flashback is really the first time that we see like sweet
Yeah.
Jin, and like
We see why they're together.
Yeah, he's so sweet and like lovable, so instantly lovable. When she's like, "Oh, you don't know my father," he's saying, "I'll go and talk to your father about like us getting married," and she's like, "You don't know my father," and he goes, "I know me," and you're like, "Yeah, I love this version of Jin. He's so nice."
Yeah.
Sun is immediately not happy about this. She is arguing, she's making a case for why that's a bad thing, which I saw transcribed in my subtitles as argues in Korean.
Yeah, we didn't need to know what that actually said. We're fine.
Yeah, to be honest, we're going to get clued in by the end of the episode as to what her case against it is. But yeah, and then he produces a diamond ring, and it's quite ugly. I thought it was quite ugly. Is that just me? I felt that the band was like weirdly wide. You know, like most rings have like a kind of narrow band and then maybe a big diamond, but this was just like the whole width of the diamond the whole way. I found it very strange, but I guess, you know, she could tell it was expensive and that was the main thing.
I thought the strings from Giacchino really stood out to me here in that they, for me, really showed the like duality of the scene, and that they were sort of like happy and light. Like they're, oh, how nice they're getting engaged. But also there was like this sort of sinister undertone to them as well. As though maybe it is not quite as hunky-dory as it seems.
And the next scene, Sun is given responsibility for a dog that she never asked for. She seems happy about it, but also like, why have I got a dog? Now I have a dog to take care of.
I don't know if she is happy about it because she has that like dead behind the eyes look, and she's like, remember when all you had to give me was a flower? And I think like we're starting to see some like seeds are being sowed that they don't have the super happy marriage. And also the strings here seem to get more ominous, and there's like slightly less of the happy flighty strings and more like boom boom boom.
Yeah, he's also like increasingly occupied by his work. And he's like, oh, I'm working late all the time, but now you have a dog to keep you company. That's the same thing, right?
And also you need to look after it and train it.
Yeah. And then there's obviously like the very quick reality check from when she receives this puppy who's really cute and like cuddles up on her chest, to in the next scene it's a fully grown big ass dog that is like sitting on the sofa causing trouble.
How long do you think the time is between these two? Because I thought it was like some years perhaps, or like many months.
I mean, from the first flashback, I think quite a few years. I think they make Yunjin Kim look really young, especially. But yeah, I mean, I could see that like the whole course of this development was over the course of 5 to 10 years. The next flashback is a rough time. It's not. We really
kick things up a gear in the fourth one.
Yeah, this is where there's the interior decorator, right?
No, the fourth one is where Jin comes home covered in blood.
Oh, of course. This one is the one where he comes home covered in blood. How could I forget? Yeah.
How could you forget? And yeah, this is where we start. I feel like this is when we see the Jin from the island. When he is like...
He's gone dark. We're looking at dark Jin. We
are. The dark side of the Jin. And Sun's like screaming at him to ask what happened. And he's just like, I was working. He's like, you can clearly see I'm covered in blood and I'm working for your father. Fucking put 2 and 2 together. Do you think she knows about her dad's business? And is she like, you'll be doing these shady things? But then she seems like, to me, it reads as though she comes in covered in blood and she thinks something is wrong with him or something bad has happened to him. And she seems kind of like taken aback when he says he was working.
I interpret it quite differently. I would say that she knows that her dad is doing shady shit. She knows that it's not gonna go well for Jin working for her dad. Then when he comes home covered in blood, she's like, what have you been doing? What happened to you? Like, I just interpreted it that she does understand that it's in the context of him working for her father. But it's up for debate, I suppose. Like, you could also say that she seems so shocked and so surprised. But presumably this is like the first time anything like this has happened. And so before she's been like, oh, maybe maybe it is okay that he works for my father. And now it's the first like reality check thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is also a difference between knowing that her dad does some shady shit to some degree, not necessarily knowing what happens, versus someone who's been doing his work has come home covered in blood. This is not she might have thought like shady shit, like, oh, he's doing shady business dealings or like scamming some people or something. And like, oh no, there appears to be something involving lots of blood happening.
Violence, you
might say. Also, Jin says, I do it for us, and has got that like real look in his eye that is almost like resentful of Sun. Does she slap him and then he says, I do whatever your father tells me, I do it for us, and they're like staring each other down?
The way I read the scene is like she's kind of like on him about like, what have you done? And he moves as if to hit her but doesn't hit her. She thwacks him across the face and he gives her this look that is just pure resentment. I would say even like quite a violent, like threatening type look he gives her, because I feel like there's so many like interesting levels of power dynamics in this one little scene.
Yeah.
Because Sun hits Jin, but she never poses any real threat to him, either physically or in terms of things she can do that have consequences for him. He doesn't hit her, and I feel like that is tied into the fact that like she is her father's daughter, and so he is like even if he is feeling a violent rage, he's restraining himself out of knowing that there would be consequences for using physical violence against, like, his boss's daughter. And then there's this element of, like, when we see Sun in the next scene, she has the behavior of someone who is escaping, like, a violent partner, but the violence is, like, weirdly upside down, like the physical violence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
But I do find it really interesting that she sees her only option as being this, like, total disappear without a trace escape. But I feel like that has more to do with her father's power,
I think so,
than
yeah.
actually, like, what she needs to do to get away from Jin.
Yeah. It's really interesting to, like, think about Jin's power and position within this. And I think, like, the I do it for us and that sort of resentment sort of ties into that of, like, up till now on the island, we've assumed that he is this person. Like, this is his character. He is controlling and angry and violent. And then through the early flashbacks, we see, like, almost a completely different person. And then this bit here makes me think, like, oh, maybe he isn't that person, but he sort of, if he, like, became that person through the work he's doing, and that's why he's resentful, because he's like, I'm becoming this person because I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, he became that person in order to be with her, and him doing what he needed to do to be with her is the very thing that makes her need to escape. It's like a horrible, toxic cycle thing.
Yeah. And in terms of her leaving because of her dad, I think you're right in that obviously it's like the living situation with Jin, but I wonder if because her dad is obviously so entrenched sort of in their relationship, in that in order for them to be together, Jin had to get the approval from her father. In order to get the approval from her father, he had to work for her father, which, so then it's like if she tries to extricate herself from Jin, then Sun's dad is like, well, he's extricated in my business now, so...
Yeah. Jin and Sun's dad are like, they have too much on each other for either of them to turn on each other, I guess. But as someone who has, like, worked in the field of violence against women, it was a really interesting one to sit with, the scene where I feel like a really sort of under analyzed take would be like, well, she hit him, he didn't hit her, she's the aggressor in the relationship. And there is a lot more of a complex power dynamic going on that is not about the use of physical violence, it's about the use of other means of control and, like, other kinds of threats. Now we can talk about some of the stuff, like the way that these flashbacks inform what we've seen of their relationship on the island. And like you said, Jin has been really been presented as this traditional, like, conservative male authority figure in their relationship. But their dynamic is so much more complicated than that, because she's the one who has the family prestige and, like, the family inherited power and money. And the idea that he has this, like, husband, like, in his role as her husband, has authority over her, has not really been part of their thing. Like, it's only kind of through his association with her father that he has even enough status to be, like, allowed to be her husband. So I found it quite interesting when they have their scenes in the earlier episodes and he's like, I'm your husband, I'll tell you what to do. It's possible that they maybe hadn't really figured out, like, the backstory.
I think you're onto something. Because you're right, and, like, even in these flashbacks, we see Jin as being, like, we see negative and toxic traits from Jin, but not the same type of traits that we've seen on the island, i.e. he hasn't been, like, controlling towards Sun in the flashbacks. We just see him, like, becoming distant and angry, but not, like, controlling in the way that, I don't know, like, telling her to button her shirt up and being like, don't talk to anyone else, it's you and me, like...
Yes, it's a little bit hard to reconcile. I guess you could put it through the lens of being like, but they've been through this, like, extremely traumatic event, and he's kind of, like, pulling on the way that he has learned to be for the last 5 to 10 years through working for her father, and, like, the messages and all the sort of, like, societal norms that he's picked up and they've sort of started living by, even if that wasn't how they started out. But yeah, I would buy it all a lot more if we had seen more pushback from Sun when he would say things like that, because I feel like in her character, she's not a shrinking violet. She's not like a submissive person.
No, but then I think we do see that on the island, because like she does push back
not
a tiny
really to
amount.
his face.
That's true. She unbuttons her shirt again after he walks away from her behind his back.
She tries to reason with him sometimes, but it's hard to. It is hard to reconcile that this version of Sun that we see on the island with the version that like fully slaps him across the face after he comes home covered in blood. But hey, that's what we've got.
I guess also when we do see more of a hint of the Jin we see on the island is this next flashback scene, which is when Jin's on the phone and he's like, "Take the dog away, leave me alone." Like, I guess that is sort of closer to like the controlling element.
Yeah, we can.
And there's so much that we don't see of their dynamic once he is working for her father. So maybe they are leaving that sort of space open to explore later.
Yeah, that's true. There'll be more flashbacks, and I guess you can sort of fill in the blanks and say, oh, yeah, but their relationship dynamic changed a lot in the intervening years.
Yeah.
And because of his role in relation to her father, she had to become a more submissive person in relation to him. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can't. Now we're in the scene with the like quote unquote interior decorator who's actually there to help Sun escape and disappear without a trace. Jin and Sun's dog is the real victim in all of this. I have to say, like,
oh my god, who's looking after the dog?
At least Sun does say, "Will you like take care of my dog when I'm gone?"
Yeah.
But I can't help feeling like this dog never asked to be part of this narrative.
This plan is full of so many holes. There
Yeah.
are so many ways this plan can go wrong. I hate it.
It's really, really weird. The only detail she's really keen on impressing on Sun is that it's 11:15, 11:15, 11:15. I was like, if that was me, I would definitely need to do more repetition on turn right, look for this kind of car, like...
Okay, so this were some of the many holes. There are typically a lot of places, a lot of entrances at an airport. You don't just walk outside the airport. I've never been to Sydney, so I don't know what the Sydney International Airport looks like. I imagine you don't just walk outside.
I'll give you a clue. It doesn't look like the conference centre in Hawaii where they filmed this.
B, a car's allowed to drive right up, because I know lots of airports will have a drop-off space. What if there's traffic? What if the car doesn't get there on time? You can't just be like, at this time there will be a car there. And sometimes also the drop-off areas, they'll have 20-minute maximum waiting time if the person is coming to kidnap
I'm
Sun.
literally not even listening to you anymore.
Thanks,
Just like
that's-
Alex rants about airports.
But then character-wise, Jin is being portrayed as this controlling, abusive husband, and she's just like, oh, just make an excuse and go outside by yourself. What if Jin simply refuses to let that happen?
That is poor safety planning, I'll give you that.
Like, there are so many... And then, not to skip ahead to the next flashback, but when it actually happens, just conveniently, by the desk that they're queuing for, there is a door, and outside that door is the man that Sun is waiting for. How convenient, considering none of this was fucking planned in the slightest. Anyway, that's my rant about all
it's
the
a
holes in this
terrible plan, but I'm also kind of wondering, since Sun didn't take them up on the plan, how long are the rescue people going to wait there? And like, do they still get paid? And like, I feel like she needs to, if she's going to drop out of the whole escape plan, she should at least like tell someone. I don't know.
I assume she will have paid, because like the decorator gives her a passport, which I assume is like a fake passport. So I assume not that I've done any of this shady business, but I assume you pay for these things up front. They don't tend to be like, oh yeah, we'll do all this illegal activity for you. You PayPal us later. Also, not to keep harping on the point about how poor this plan is, but like surely while they're in Sydney, anywhere else in Sydney would have been easier to stage some sort of kidnapping. Like at the hotel in the middle of the night. Like some other way that A, there is less chance for something to go wrong. B, you definitely are in the right place. And C, Jin's not going to follow you. There are so many opportunities instead of being like, wait till you get to the airport.
I think you found your calling as a fake hostage escape Coordinator.
Okay. I will get right on that. And then all it takes is Jin holding up a flower, which I understand. Yes, thematically, he holds up a flower. It's what he gave her on their, I don't know if it was their first date, like in the first flashback. And
It's
then
like,
she's like,
the flower
"Aw."
that you gave me in our first flashback.
And then she's like, "Oh, maybe he can change." And it's like, sorry, the decorator did ask you if there was any chance of reconciliation, and you said no. And it turns out all you needed to reconcile was for Jin to hold a flower up at you. That feels like not a whole lot.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Jin is really fit in that scene, so that must have played into her decision making.
At the airport.
Yeah.
Love a man in
He
formal wear.
looks, yeah, he's dreamy. Okay, are we ready to go to the island?
Okay,
Are you ready?
let's go.
Are you with
back
me?
to the island. Sun and Jin on the island.
She gets an eye shot.
She does get an eye shot. Our third eye shot?
I don't know if we're like keeping track of who gets an eye shot, but yeah, we've had Jack, we've had
Locke,
and now we have Sun.
and we get Kid Jack. Like,
Yes, we've had Jack twice.
Boo.
He's top of the eye ranking.
She's watching Jin fish, and Jin is fishing in the most insane way by seemingly pulling fish out of the water. Is this a thing that people do? He's like literally just grabbing in the water and lifting out a fish.
I feel like he's really honed his skills in the last few days of like ninja style grabbing fishes. But it's nice because we open on Sun's eye and then we initially just watch her watching people, and there's going to be a few other times in the episode when her main role is to be the observer and the watcher. So it does actually feel quite thematically relevant for once, rather than just like a cool thing to do in the opening shot. One of the things she's watching is Jack and Kate aggressively flirting,
Yes.
verbally copulating, as Charlie calls it. So Jin is doing his like grabby fish method, and then just brutally beating the fish to death.
Yeah.
Which gives Sun a bit of flashbacks.
And then he like spots Michael, and we don't know why at this point, but comes like leaping after him, drags him into the ocean, is punching him, holding him under, trying to drown him, and it all just feels so very unnecessary.
Excessive.
I understand like the point of it is to like show Jin's anger and show his temper. As Sun says lately, my husband has a temper. But like, I don't know, he's after the watch, so maybe like point to the watch at Michael and be like, give me that fucking watch.
The way that he fully like accelerates and dives, and like it's like he's like flying through the air and catches Michael mid-flight and like brings him down. The first time I rewatched this episode, I laughed because I thought it was so comical, like such a comical way to attack someone. I stopped laughing when he was like fully beating him to death and trying to drown him, but then I laughed again when Saeed and Sawyer came running out of the jungle like the little island police patrol, and they're like running in a really like funny and coordinated way, and I was just like, there were so many. This episode, I found it to be like, on a second rewatch, I didn't mind it, but on the first rewatch, I was like, this is bad. There's just so many like weird moments and like things that are unintentionally funny.
When Saeed and Sawyer came out, I was like, oh, are they going to be like good cop, bad cop? And Sawyer's going to be like, racist thing. And Saeed's going to be like, I'm lovely, just be nice to each other. But no, they just both take one each and tackle them both. And
I think it's for the best, to be honest.
So they handcuff Jin to the wreckage. Saeed tries to interrogate Sun with exactly the same interrogation technique he tried when they were missing the water bottles, by just yelling in her face.
But here's what I want to say. I think Saeed clocked it ages ago that Sun speaks English. And I think when they were doing the whole water bottle thing, and he was unsuccessfully interrogating her then, and he was like, she understands! I feel like the way that he behaves in this scene is like confirmation, just in the fact that he's like, bitch, I see you. Don't play a player. Like,
I mean, I guess because I don't know if there's anything to the fact that obviously English is his second language as well, and whether he like recognizes someone who is understanding and interpreting a second language.
I think he's very insightful
Astute.
astute, yeah.
We do also, once again, when they're having this whole big debate where Michael's like, I didn't do anything, he just came at me, Sun tries to intervene and tries to help then by shouting at them in Korean, but she doesn't. She then like points to her wrist and is like, the watch. But I'm like, it's too little, too late. Like, they've handcuffed Jin by this point.
Yeah. She does it when he's handcuffed. Yeah,
and now looks like you're talking about the handcuffs.
It's a really strange, like, the episode has to work quite hard for Sun not to be able to communicate to them what the problem is. Because when she says to Jin, like, oh, I can go and explain, and he's like, no, you won't be able to explain. It's like, I mean, she could literally just go up to Michael and point at his watch.
To the watch.
That would be a really easy way of explaining it without having to use English.
Yeah.
So it's all like a little bit, it doesn't really add up, and it's all a little bit like unnecessary.
Quite contrived. So we have another little... Oh, this does then lead to a pretty nice scene between Michael and Walt, where Walt asks Michael about the fact, he was like, oh, what did you mean people like him don't like us? And it's like, oh, Michael.
He was like, yikes, didn't mean to teach you racism. Forget about that, it's fine.
Shall we talk about racist hierarchies, Walt? But then they have this nice sort of thing where Michael's like, what kind of man do you think I am? What did your mum say about me? And he's like, she never told me anything. And then he tries to turn it back, and Michael's like, Walt asks when his birthday is.
Yeah, Walt's like, oh, you don't know anything about me. And
immediately
like, when's
tell
my birthday? He's like, August 24, biatch.
Yeah. Which I think we've sort of talked about before, at least hinted at before, that it's sort of turning this stereotype of black fathers on their heads, of like the absent black father, and being like, Walt is like buying into the stereotype of like, oh, the black dad walked out and doesn't want anything to do with me. And actually,
I think more importantly than what Walt is thinking is the fact that the show has been feeding us this kind of like this basic idea that like, oh, Michael doesn't know anything about his kid, he's probably a deadbeat dad. And this is maybe like the first little crumb that we've been given to suggest that there's a different story going on here. That Michael wants to know, like, how much has your mum said about me? Kind of expecting there would be some level of, talking about me. And that he does know when Walt's birthday is. It's August 24th, making Walt a Virgo. Are you ready for Horoscope Corner? Virgo needs to feel useful, has a quick fix for everything. Judgmental, but with good intentions. Exceptional spatial awareness. And a million ideas per second. That's like, they're kind of known for being like perfectionist, a bit like persnickety maybe, like kind of introverted and a bit like kind of protecting their own integrity, but they're happy to let you like tell them all your shit, but they're going to keep their stuff like close to their chest. No idea if that applies to Walt in the slightest.
I feel like it applies to Walt in the way that most horoscope information I read applies to anyone. In that you can subjectively be like, yeah, this person does that. And it's just some behavior. But don't let my negativity harsh your horoscope vibe.
I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I like read all that and was like, yeah, it's Walt. Spot on.
So then we've got sort of like the ending to this whole thing where Sun watches Michael go into the jungle. She follows him and she tells him that she speaks English, or she actually says to him, I need to talk to you. Or maybe she says something else. I don't know. Michael is like absolutely fuming. And side note, Connor was just as fuming as Michael was.
Oh, okay. So Connor wasn't like, what?
No, Connor was like, oh, for fuck's sake, don't tell me the lesson she was taking was English. Not a happy bunny with this reveal. My
partner had actually called it in a previous episode that he was like, oh, I think she speaks English. And I was like, how interesting. Let's bear that in mind.
Sun tells Michael everything about the watch and says it belonged to my father, has bad as a temper, and says, I need your help. And then ominous cut away. Anyway, then Michael goes back to Jin, has a little yell at him, and he's carrying the axe. Shouts in his face. He says he's having a bad month. I barely know my son, and now I've got to be his daddy. And to top it off, I have a deranged Korean guy trying to kill me. Nothing about
like, there was
the plane crash. Anyway, yeah. And then he chops the handcuff off, which seems like quite a waste of a perfectly good pair of handcuffs. Like, Handcuffs could have many uses, and now they are simply chopped in half.
Yeah, that's true. Couldn't someone have just been like, where's Saeed with the key for the handcuffs?
Yeah, like this whole thing is just so like going back to the scene between Michael and Son ending with her saying, "I need your help," and then him chopping off the handcuffs. It's also contrived to create such short-term drama, because I assume the idea
suspense, yeah, because then it's immediately just like,
because the idea is, I need your help, and then Michael comes out holding an axe. We're supposed to be like, oh my god, his son wanting to like kill Jen.
Oh,
and then it immediately is like, no, Michael's just here to it's just here to chop off the handcuffs, which means that the I need your help suspense is completely dead, and also we've now lost the handcuffs, which were useful. Bad times. And that is about everything.
We're halfway through the podcast. We talk a lot, we know. Why not take this time to write a review? It helps more people find the show. Or pop us a little email, or simply tell a friend. We're gonna need some listeners if we're to make it from the pilot to the end.
Shall we head to some subplots?
Do it.
Okay. So this episode is actually quite interesting, because in the previous episodes we've had like quite a lot of miscellaneous scenes between various characters, and I feel like this one is really quite succinct in that there really only are two plot threads. One of them sort of diverges. So we start with Jack and Kate verbally copulating.
They're flirting so aggressively. It made me uncomfortable just watching it on my TV screen.
Yeah, the whole episode, everything was like, oh, I don't know whether the writers suddenly decided they wanted to make this shipping happen, or whether they were like, it's time to turn it up a notch, we're on episode 6 now. But it just feels like it went from they share a couple of lines and glances to like this whole episode they're like, ooh.
Yeah, it was definitely like, let's turn it up a notch, because I think there has been, like you say, they've shared some little moments and some glances, and they've treated each other with a sort of level of like respect and consideration that they haven't shown to their other island colleagues. But yeah, this was suddenly just like, we're flirting, and I was like, oh, I don't like it.
I don't like it. It feels very unnatural, and I hated it. Charlie's line. This is a line that I often repeat, sometimes just in my head so as to not come across too passive-aggressive. But, oh, you guys have an inside joke. How absolutely wonderful for you both.
Yeah, I was very relating to Charlie in that moment. I was like, oh no, when you're in like a group of people and no one knows each other, but then some people find each other and like click really quickly, and they kind of like establish a little friendship, and you're just there being like, guys, someone hang out with me, please. Yeah, I felt the Je suis Charlie come through in that moment.
Je suis Charlie. Malheureusement, it means unfortunately. Le sigh.
Also, Charlie absolutely not giving a shit about the backstory, because they're flirting about Jack's tattoos, and Charlie absolutely not giving a shit about Jack's tattoos.
As they're walking away, she's like, hey Charlie, ask Jack about his tattoos. Like, fuck off.
Charlie in this moment is the entire audience in season 3, episode 9, Stranger in a Strange Land, aka the backstory of Jack's tattoos.
Very nice.
And Kate wanting to know about them is what I assume is the single writer who was pushing for that episode to happen.
I mean, famously, that episode is like when the show creators were desperate for an end date and like took it to the network and were like, if you force us to keep making this show indefinitely, this is what you will get. And they were like, okay, we can give you an end date.
So they go off. So the 4 of them, there's Kate, Jack, Charlie, and Lot.
Oh my god, Alex, I have to tell you something.
Oh my god, please do.
So I was while I was editing one of our old episodes, I heard myself say that I would be on the lookout for when people change their clothes. I haven't done that, but in this episode, I did do that.
Oh, okay.
Jack has a new shirt on. He has gone for like a little taupe shirt that with the sleeves torn off or cut off. Michael will also, over the course of the episode, exchange his light blue shirt for an orange t-shirt that really suits him. And I feel like orange is his colour.
I feel like that orange shirt is the real Michael shirt in my brain when I think of him.
Later in the episode, Walt will also change his top to a sort of broad, stripy number. I'm going to have to see if I keep this up, and in that case, there probably will eventually have to be a jingle about people changing their clothes, but we'll see.
Okay, so yes, there's 4 of them. Kate, Jack, Charlie,
Okay.
Locke. Jack tells Charlie to go looking to see what's in the wreckage and tells him to keep an eye out for some drugs.
Charlie's like, oh,
how
drugs.
poignant.
Drugs, you say? I'm having a normal reaction to that.
Also, Kate asks Jack how he found the caves, and he tells her that he found them just by luck. So he clearly does not want to advertise the Magical Island mystery tour that his dead
You
dad
could
gave
call
him.
it luck. It was lucky that his dead dad appeared to him and led him there.
That is true.
And then bees. Are we on to bees?
Unfortunately, they go into the caves to get some water to bring back to the beach. Unfortunately, we come across a beehive and get the most ridiculous subplot, most ridiculous CGI.
Speaking of contrived, this all fucking sucks.
Yes, everything here is awful. I hate it. Apart from Locke. Locke is the only good thing about this, because I do like Locke being calm and wise and zen, and he's like, please be quiet. Stop. Stay calm.
He's locking out. He's at full lock.
But also, it wouldn't be an irrational fear of bees if I could just pull myself together.
Is any fear of bees irrational? They sting you. It's quite a normal thing to be afraid of, isn't it? The whole thing is so stupid. Can we just run through it as quickly as possible?
Well, it then gets even more stupid because then he snaps the hive and all the bees come flying out with some more terrible CGI, and Jack and Kate run away, and simply the thing that you must do is take your clothes off.
Yeah, the gratuitous underwear scene was on another level of just sure, they had to get shirtless because of the bees. Right, okay, that's where we are.
Luckily, bees don't like legs, so their jeans could stay on.
There's an emergency with the bees. Better take your shirt off, but keep your jeans.
So then, thank fuck, we're past the bees. The bees are done. They get back to the caves, and while topless, Kate finds 2 skeletons. Big flag, significant content,
It's such a
significant island
weird
content.
scene. It's such a weird scene. She's like, running, get it, top off, running, caves, fucking skeleton.
Skeletons!
It's so uneven and but anyway, yeah. But this is an important moment for the island. So.
In my head, I completely forgot about the bees, and I thought they literally just got to the caves and found Adam and Eve in the caves.
100%. If you'd have asked me before this past week what happened, I would have been like, yeah, they get to the caves and that's where they are. I don't know. Okay, I got to talk to you about this, what happens when they find Adam and Eve, because Kate does the thing that is such a trope of female characters that it's I found it so painful to watch, that rather than observing and gaining information from what she can see, all she does is ask Jack questions. Who are they? Where did they come from? Who put them there? How long have they been there? It's like, bitch, he doesn't have any more information about these things than you. You literally discovered it at the same time. You have the same amount of
Yeah. Also, he's a
it's-
doctor. He deals with bodies being alive, not mummified corpses.
It bothered me so much. And also, Kate stopped deferring to Jack's authority challenge.
Stop deferring to Jack's authority challenge. Bum bum.
He also estimates 40 or 50 years that it would take 40 or 50 years for the clothing to have degraded this much.
How do you know that, Jack? Because he's just Jack and he knows everything.
Final significant point, they have stones in their pockets, one black and one white. What could it mean?
Probably symbolic, if you ask me.
Probably symbolic, also considering Locke's backgammon explanation to Walt.
2 players, 2 sides. One is light, one is dark.
It's like he's in the room with us.
What about the bit where Kate says she had to take off her top because, quote, it was full of bees? Which is an incredible line for the ages. And then Charlie, of course, has to be like, oh, I would have thought C's. And then he's like, sorry, that was actually really inappropriate. Jack also points out that one of the skeletons appears to have been female, which I was immediately like, oh my god, Jack, stop being such a fucking tough. Like, oh, when people find your bones, they'll be able to see your biological sex. Shut the fuck up, Jack.
That's true. Dharma Fish Biscuits believes in trans rights.
Yeah, Jack did not know what culture wars he would be unknowingly participating in 20 years in the future, so... And then Jack starts... he starts his new cult, the cave cult, where he's talking to Kate and he's like... He's got the vibe of someone who's like, I've just had an epiphany, and now I need to recruit people to my sect. And it's like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, as if I didn't have enough problems with this guy. Now he has to start a cult of personality based around the caves.
If Jack has no haters, I'm dead.
But luckily Kate says no. And this is when we get the classic, you checking me out? No, I was just thinking about the caves.
That was genuinely really funny. I was like, it's like that meme. It's like, I bet he's thinking about other women.
Oh my god.
Except in this case, it's like Kate, like, I bet he's thinking about my ass, and he's just like, we should all move to the caves.
So they come across Saeed, and in this scene, Helen, there are 3 people. And what does that mean?
Hit the jingle.
3 characters in a scene. You know what that means. It's time for Fuck, Marry or Kill. Fuck, Marry or Kill.
Okay, so we have Saeed, Jack, and Kate. Who are you fucking? Who are you marrying? Who are you killing?
Honestly, the fuck, marry, kill of my dreams, because it's so clear to me. I'm going to finally get to marry Saeed and finally get to fuck Kate, who I've been marrying over and over again, and kill Jack, which is just a dream come true any day of the week. Easy peasy.
I am so happy for you. And also, this is a very easy fuck, marry, kill, because I agree with you. That is exactly where I'm landing too. I think Saeed has got so many good skills. He would be a useful man about the house, I feel. So I'm marrying him. A skillful Saeed, great man to have about the house, great to marry. Obviously killing Jack. Gotta be fucking Kate.
Oh, so you're just fully on board with my
Boom.
Jack hate now, is that right?
You have tainted me.
Oh.
I mean, I've never been the biggest fan of him, but actually, putting myself in the mindset of the actual episode we're talking about, I don't think he was too bad in this episode, because I think that actually he was quite smart with thinking about moving to the caves. But then I don't want to. I don't need to fuck someone just because they're smart, Helen. No, I think I'm happy with my choice. I'm gonna stick with fucking Kate. I think if Jack's got a chance, it's gonna be when his hair gets a bit longer.
Good to know. All right.
Okay. So they come across Saeed, and he tells them that moving to the caves is suicide, and they instead need to keep the signal fire burning on the beach. Helen, which team are you on? I'm guessing I can guess which team you're on based on how you've spoken about a certain leader of one movement.
I really dropped some clues along the way in talking about how much I love shade, water.
Oh wait, this is surprising me. So you're on Team Cave?
Listen.
After you've spent this whole time bitching about Jack and his cult of caves.
Yeah.
But I will be joining him.
This is my problem, okay? On the one hand, I'm on record talking about how much I love shade and drinking water. Like, 2 of the, absolute key things to figure out on the island for me. So obviously I'm naturally a cave dweller. I would be like, that is the place for me. But it does have Jack, and all of my favorite people on the island are not the cave people. I mean, Hurley is, but you've got Kate, you've got Saeed, you've got Sawyer. It's not entirely clear where everyone else is, but
Shannon stayed on the beach. We saw a blonde head, so I think that was Shannon.
I think Shannon and Boone stayed. So it's a really a balancing act. But I think ultimately I would be like, oh, I'll be in the caves. I'm just not sharing a cave with Jack. I'm going to take the cave that's furthest away from Jack, and try and just live my own life. In peace. What about you?
In this false dichotomy that has been proposed by the show, I think I would be cave for shelter and water, like you said, because I know that there are still people on the beach. In real life, you just need a team of beach fire watchers.
In real life, this doesn't
just
need
need
to
a-
be a conflict
just-
at all.
yeah,
You just be
make
like,
a
some
rota.
people on the beach, some people in the caves. Cool. Yeah, we can swap back and forth. We can like rotate, whatever. Like it is once again contrived for the show to be like, and now all the people are fighting because they have to choose which side they're on. It's like, it's fine. It's not a problem at all. In fact, it's better. Like, but yeah, it is obviously portrayed as being like a split between, are you an optimist and still think we're going to get rescued and are like putting your eggs in that basket? Or are you kind of more focused on like living well for the time that we're here and like living somewhere that enables that?
Yeah. So that's what comes through in the conversation Sawyer has with Kate. And I think we really see some like astuteness for him reading the situation. Like he's sort of like sarcastic and dry about it, but he's like, everyone else has just been like, we need to go to the caves. No, we need to stay on the beach. And he's like boiling it down to what it actually means, which is like he says to Kate, are you a pessimist or are you staying here? And he's like, the people going to caves are the pessimists. They're accepting that we're never being rescued.
He also says that Jack and Saeed are fighting over Kate, which struck me as really strange.
He said the Doc and Captain Falafel, and Connor and I both turned to each other and were like, who is Captain Falafel? I guess slur-wise it makes sense to be Saeed, but in what
Like,
way
I
is
can
Saeed
figure it out
fighting?
I can only figure it out from the racial slur.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was really strange because it was like, wait, what? Like, there's not been any hint of like a love triangle or like a tension between Kate and Saeed. I was just like, huh? But I mean, I guess they were fighting over her in the sense of they were both trying to convince her of their arguments. But like, I was just like, what is this? We already have Jack and Charlie and Sawyer all canonically like sexually interested in Kate. We don't need to add Saeed to the mix.
We get it. Kate's one of the 3 women on this show. Kate tells Jack she doesn't want to be Eve. She's not going to the caves. They have this really, once again, contrived thing of him being like, just what is it that you did? And she says,
oh my god, that was terrible.
You had
I'm
your
sorry,
chance to know.
There were quite a few lines in this episode that I simply had to write down in caps lock in my notes because they were so, like, ridiculous. One of them was, of course, it was full of bees. But one was also, Kate, how did you get to be this way? It's like, what way specifically? Like, this is just like a really tenuous thing to try and pull it back to. Jack wants to know what Kate did. But like,
it's the writers really on the nose being like, these are the questions we want you to be asking. We want you to wonder why Kate is like this.
Sure, but like, it's so unconvincing to be like, but Kate, you don't want to move to the caves. Why are you this way? Like, work harder if you want to try and get this kind of payoff. It really bothered me. I'm sorry, but it seems like Jack just wants to have information that he can then hold over her, and like, my feeling is he doesn't want to know what she did, like in this moment, in this episode, he doesn't want to know what she did out of like, to understand her better. He wants to know because he wants to have something that he can like hold over her and remind her that he's got something on her. I think he's so diabolical. But yeah, he's like, if you need me, you know where to find me. And Kate, thankfully, feminist icon Kate comes through for us at the end.
Well, the bar is on the floor.
Sure. And she's just like, he's walked away and she's talking into the fire like, you know where to find me too. And it's like, yeah, thanks for just reminding us that like Kate is equally as much a candidate for leadership and equally as competent and equally as valuable in this situation as Jack. He is just as likely to need her as she is to need him.
She was supposed to be the leader and Jack was supposed to die. In that alternate universe she'd have been great. Justice for Kate.
Although that does remind me of something that I wanted to say about the thing that Sawyer, like the conversation with Sawyer. Actually, the thing that he identifies as being the downside of staying on the beach is that Jack isn't there. He says, if one of us like gets mauled by a boar or falls off a cliff, it's going to be a long way for that 911 call. So he's basically saying like, we won't have access to Jack's medical expertise.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little bit subtle,
yeah,
but I was like, oh, interesting.
That's what he meant.
Sawyer's one objection to staying on the beach is like, but
Where's
Jack
Jack?
won't be there.
And that's about it for the cave plot, unless you have anything else to add in.
I mean, the song at the end, it's like Hurley was like, let me flip through my little CD collection and see what I have that's really on the nose. A song where the lyrics are you sure this is where you want to be? Perfect. There's a line in the song that says, when you've caused so many pain and misery. And while that line is playing, the camera pans over first Sawyer and then Saeed and then Kate.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay, when you've caused so many pain and misery, we're being sort of subconsciously fed the idea that this is something these three people have in common. Hold on to that little thread, if you will. And Sun is unpacking in the cave. She's loving her new cave life, and she's like, this is the appropriate time to wear a cute little sundress. Oh my god, sundress. Oh, fuck. I saw it coming and I was too late to stop it. But yeah, she pulls out this dainty little number and is like, now that I live in the caves, I can wear this. I'm like, all right, bitch, whatever.
Yep. So yeah, as you mentioned, this is Hurley's Walkman that we're listening to. In 2004, Helen, what would have been the CDs of choice in your Discman?
Wow, what a question. You know what CD I had that almost certainly came out in 2000, maybe 2003, but probably 2004, was the Gwen Stefani album, Love Angel Music Baby.
November 2004.
I think I got it for Christmas 2004, then that 100% checks out. What would have been on your Discman?
Weirdly, you might never believe this. A big one for me in 2003 was Ella Funk by the Black Eyed Peas.
I mean, the Black Eyed Peas did used to be considered kind of credible for a short time, like when in their Where Is the Love era.
Yes, Ella Funk is the Where Is the Love era. Where Is the Love? Shut Up. Hey Mama.
Okay, but then on the other question, of which is like your desert island discs, what CD would you pick to bring with you to the island? But presumably it has to have come out before September 2004 to be viable for this choice, right?
Okay, that's perfectly doable for me. Have a big love for alt 90s ladies.
What would you take?
One album, I think it's going to have to be Tragic Kingdom, no doubt.
That's really good. This question was simply too difficult for me.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I have an answer.
Okay, great.
I have a great answer.
Okay, great.
Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. It's an almost perfect album, and you can listen to it over and over again, not get sick of it. It has everything.
It has got a lot of bangers in it.
Now I'm like, if only I was trapped on a desert island in some caves listening to Rumours on repeat. Like, what an amazing life.
It's a shame that's the only way you could ever possibly listen to this album. We have one more plot. So after Jack and Kate come back to the beach, the other people on their little excursion are Charlie and Locke, and they stay behind to have their own little C plot on the island.
Yeah, Locke obviously calls it as soon as, I mean, in the B scene when he tells Charlie, like, don't move. I think he did clock then that Charlie had the drugs on him, and Charlie was acting really sus and just like, oh no, I wasn't doing anything. And Locke was like, we'll come back to that. Yeah. Right now you're standing on a beehive.
We'll circle back.
We'll circle back to this.
Yeah, so while he's trying to like prise this information out of Charlie, he tells him that he knows Drive Shaft, and he's not even just like lying to try and please Charlie, because he's like, oh, your debut was better than Oil Change, which I assume is their second album.
I have a theory here.
Okay.
I think that Locke is manipulating Charlie. I don't think he's a big Drive Shaft fan. I think that when Charlie in a previous episode told Locke, oh, I played the pan flute on one of my albums. Pause. I'm in a band. Remember that Locke did not react or respond at all to that. He was fully whittling his whistle.
That is true.
And so I think maybe in the intervening time, Locke spoke to someone who knows Charlie quite well. Maybe Claire. Maybe who else knows Charlie quite well? Well, Jack certainly wouldn't listen to any of that shit about Drive Shaft, so not him. Maybe Kate, maybe Shannon. Someone who's had to listen to Charlie go on about Drive Shaft.
I don't think Shannon will have been... Sorry. If we don't think Jack has listened, I don't think Shannon has listened.
No. And also, Locke has never spoken to Shannon, canonically. That just does not... There's no way that happened. No, but so my thinking is, Locke took that little nugget, Charlie's in a band, and this is something that he wants to be recognised for. He did a little background research, because, you know, he's a thoughtful guy. And so at the moment when he needed something from Charlie, or needed Charlie to behave in a certain way, he knows exactly what buttons to press.
And it
to
works.
Be like, oh, you're You're the bassist from Drive Shaft.
And Charlie looks so happy. He's so pleased
it's all
to
he's
be
ever
recognized.
wanted.
I know. But like immediately you get this like bond between them and Charlie. Like it's sort of sad that Charlie needs to be recognized as a celebrity to like have respect for Locke, but also he immediately is like, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's a funny little dynamic because earlier in the episode, Locke also calls Charlie's son.
Yeah.
I think he already saw Charlie as someone who was like in need of some kind of guidance, father figure role. I don't know.
But yes, then they have this whole conversation about Charlie's guitar and that it's been lost, and they have this real, very typical Locke conversation where he's very like, you'll see it again. I have faith.
Locke is also so insincere in this. He's really just like telling Charlie whatever he wants to hear. And Charlie's like, yeah, the gate agent forced me to check it in the cargo hold, fucking fascist. And Locke's like, yes, I really agree with what you're saying. Like, I am sympathizing with you. It's like,
I thought it was quite genuine. Oh, well, I think it's a cop-out that by the end when he's like, oh, you give me your drugs and maybe you'll find your guitar. And then, oh, look up, your guitar's been there the whole time. That is a little bit of a cop-out because Locke could at any point have just been like, oh, yeah, I can see your guitar, but give me the drugs. But I do think, so yes, basically Locke eventually persuades Charlie to give him the drugs and says, like, makes quite a rational argument of being like, hand it to me now. We're on an island. You're gonna run out.
Okay, I did not see the logic in Locke's argument. He's basically like, stop taking drugs while you still have some drugs left.
Well,
why is that better than stopping taking drugs when the drugs run out?
Well, because he says if you give it up now, it'll be your choice. And so I think he's like trying in this like wise owl kind of way, is trying to like give Charlie some agency to be like, you'll feel better if you've chosen to stop the drugs as opposed to you're being forced into it because you've simply run out. Like you are going to run out.
But the only difference, like, I mean, other than the like self-esteem element, the only difference between those two situations is that there are more drugs that Charlie knows he will be able to access when he really, really wants them, which he's a drug addict. He's going to really, really want them. I just feel like the logic didn't really check out for me. It would have made sense if he had phrased it as being like, if you choose to stop now, you can actively work to reduce how much you use them and like, you know, make it more of a gradual step down rather than having to go cold turkey. Like that I would have bought. That's like actually logic. Yeah. But to say like, oh, stop now while you still have some drugs left that you could be tempted by, it just doesn't work for me.
Well, because then he goes into his like island woo-woo mode and it like...
Yeah, I mean, that's such bullshit. Like, this island can give you the things you need, but you have to give something to it. It's like, what are we, day 7? Like, how do you... I mean, we know that Locke has come face to face with the monster and he's...
Yeah, but we don't know what he saw.
Been with Jack when they found the water, blah, 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 blah. But, like, what do you know? What do you know?
Yeah, I did struggle a little bit with this because I do think he seems quite genuine with Charlie because, like, he didn't tell Jack and Kate. He didn't say, like, I'm going to stay behind because I need to have an intervention with Charlie. He, like, kept it very public. He hasn't made a big deal about it. He's just, like, been like, okay, I'm going to maneuver this situation where me and Charlie are one-on-one, and I'm going to be like, look like you need help. So, like, that seems quite genuinely helpful, and, like, he actually wants to help Charlie. But then you're, like he says, the island will give you what you're looking for. You have to give the island something. But if we look at what is Locke's experience with this, because if the root
woke up from a plane crash with use of his legs
this
again.
Is the thing.
Like...
The root cause of this is the island has given him the power to walk again. But what did Locke give the island in order to get that from the island? Or does that just mean that, like, he thinks he's in debt to the island? And is that informing his choices and what he's doing? Because he's like, oh yeah, it's like a balance thing. Although he says to Charlie, the island will give you what you want if you give the island something. He's like, well, the island will give me something, so now I need to give something back. So he's like, it's informing how he's behaving now, being like, I need to repay the island for what it has given me.
I think it's just another piece of clunky dialogue in this episode and where a lot of things don't quite make sense.
Anyway, yeah, then he tells him to look up, and Charlie says, you're not going to ask me to pray or something, are you? He's like, no, literally.
No, quite literally. Simply look up.
And that is the episode. I think we just have a hot ranking to do we not? Oh, we have Connor's Corner as well.
If you want aviation or medical information, welcome to Connor's Corner.
Connor's Corner, he is deeply impressed with Locke and how prepared he is for their trek. He's got a pocket knife, he's got a compass, he's got everything he needs. And then he went down a real rabbit hole around this compass because he was like, wait, a compass is super useful. And also, if you've got a compass, you can work out the directions. You can follow the sun. Once you've got a watch, which is ironic because Michael says, who needs a watch on a damn island? But with the sun and the clock, you can work out apparently your latitude and or longitude and work out roughly where you are. And then I've just written very long explanation for how you would work it out. So everyone can Google that for themselves because I couldn't follow him. We had a compliment for the show. Meow, meow, meow. Our first compliment. Although I hate it, I am intrigued at the twist of Sun speaking English. So there we go.
Is that a compliment? Okay, we'll take it.
He's intrigued by a twist. We would take the wins where we can get them. Very pleased that they've relocated to the water. He wants them to be thinking more about food. They can't just survive on one boar. They need to do some farming. They need to grow some food to sustain themselves. They need to scavenge, look for berries.
Blah, 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 blah. Lost doesn't care about this kind of thing. We know it. They'll only care about food when it's convenient to a particular plot.
Exactly. And also, they've killed one boar so far. Locke is there with his hunting knives.
Where there's boar, there's more boar, as the old saying goes.
Where there's boar, there's more.
Hey! So then it's hot ranking time.
Hot can be physical, hot can be emotional. Hot is whatever we decide, and everyone's attractive, but who's top of the ranking? Who's the hottest one on this island?
Previous hot ranking stands as follows. Saeed, Kate, Sun, Claire, Sawyer, Charlie, Shannon, Boone.
I think I'm going to give it to Sun this week. Mostly for her decision to abandon Jin and go and live her own life. Less pleased with her deciding to go back to him on the island.
What if I told you that this needs to be Jin's first entry into hot ranking because
oh god,
he looks fit when he's being nice. And he's so charming in the first flashback. Like, I can't nominate him on an episode where he literally tries to beat someone to death and then drown them, right? That seems bad. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I might want to put Michael for his, glow up in his orange shirt.
Okay, great. I support that.
So I'm gonna, because Sun was already on the hot ranking in place 3, you're nominating her again is going to push her up to the top.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we'll do Kate, Sun, Claire, Sawyer, Charlie, Michael, Shannon and Boone. So I think until Shannon and Boone either redeem themselves from their poor behaviour or get re-nominated, I think they have to stay relegated, no? You can visit us on Instagram at Dharma Fish Biscuits Pod for a visual representation of the hot ranking.
Okay. That'll do us for this week and this episode. And yes, as Helen said, you can find us on Instagram at Dharma Fish Biscuits Pod. You can send us an email at dharmafishbiscuitspod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us if we're right. We'd love to hear that. Tell us if we're wrong. We'd love to hear that. And we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/dharmafishbiscuits. It's free to sign up. We would love a nice review. And if you're not already following the show, hit that follow button.
Our next episode will be out in 2 weeks when we'll be talking about Season 1, Episode 7, The Moth.
Okay, well, I'll see you in another life, Helen.
I'll see you in another life, brother.